After Marcus, after the endless monitoring of my phone, the interrogations over every notification, the way he'd smile while saying sunshine like it was a threat, I ran. Not just to another city. I went far north, to a quiet stretch of Lake Michigan shoreline in northern Michigan. The realtor called the place a soul's perfect retreat. A modest 2-story cottage perched on the edge of dense pine forest, private beach access, no close neighbors. I believed her. I moved in with one duffel bag, a few books, and Shadow, my black cat with eyes like green lanterns. Standing on the porch that first evening, watching the lake mirror the sunset, I whispered to myself, "Here you'll forget everything." But forgetting is a lie shadows tell to keep you calm. The first week felt like breathing again. I walked the empty beach, collecting smooth stones and driftwood, read novels on the screened porch while waves whispered against the sand. The property to the right was an unfinished house, half-built, abandoned mid-renovation years ago. A broken fence line merged our yards into one long, wild space. Occasionally, I glimpsed 2 or 3 young men cutting through from the road behind, using the shortcut. Locals, I assumed. Harmless. On the third night, everything tilted. I was on the porch after midnight, tea gone cold, stars sharp overhead. Shadow curled against my ankle, purring. Then I saw him. A silhouette in the dark window of the abandoned house. Tall. Motionless, staring straight at me. No light inside that place, yet his outline was clear against the faint glow of distant street lamps. He didn't move for at least 30 minutes. I told myself he was just a curious neighbor who'd wandered in. I went inside, locked every door, drew every curtain. Sleep refused to come. What if he was still there, watching the house breathe? Morning light revealed footprints, large men's boots, fresh in the damp soil. They crossed from the forest, stepped over the broken fence, circled the porch, paused at my front door, as though someone had stood there listening to me sleep, then vanished back into the trees. I called the sheriff's department. A deputy arrived, took photos, shrugged. Kids messing around, or maybe a transient. Get some cameras up. I ordered a full ring system that afternoon. Motion lights, doorbell cam, indoor cams, night vision. Installation felt like drawing a line in the sand. Safety, I thought. Control. That night, the motion alert woke me at 2:16 a.m. Heart slamming, I opened the app. A figure stood in the yard. Tall, thin, hooded sweatshirt. He spread his arms wide like a scarecrow, slowly shook his head side to side while staring directly at my bedroom window. Then he turned and melted into the pines. Shadow hissed from the foot of the bed, fur spiked. I called 911 again. By the time deputies arrived, the yard was empty. No new prints. Could be stress playing tricks, one said gently. Breakups can mess with your head. I hadn't mentioned Marcus. Not once. The days blurred into a tense routine. Grocery store runs became ordeals. The cashier handed me change, tilted her head and murmured, "Good morning, sunshine." The exact mocking lilt Marcus used when he suspected I'd spoken to someone he didn't approve of. My hand froze on the receipt. "What did you say?" She smiled blankly. "Just good morning." But her eyes held something familiar. Amused, superior. The same look he gave me when he knew he'd caught me. That evening at the Lakeside Cafe, the barista slid my latte across the counter and asked casually, "Figured out yet what you're running from?" Word for word what Marcus snarled after our final fight. The cup slipped from my fingers, shattered on the tile. "Who told you to say that?" I whispered. He shrugged. "Just making conversation." But the lie sat heavy in his expression. Nights grew worse. Knocks, not on the door, but on the windows. Steady, deliberate rhythm. Morse-like. The cameras caught him. Same hooded figure, flashlight beam sweeping across the glass, waving slowly like he was greeting an old friend. He stood on the beach road afterward, motionless, staring up at the house for 40 minutes. Deputies. Looking isn't illegal. I stopped sleeping more than 20 minutes at a stretch. Then the package arrived. Plain brown box on the welcome mat, no label. Inside, a lock of dark curly hair tied with a red ribbon, my exact shade and texture. A note in block letters. You can't just disappear, sunshine. I burned the contents in the kitchen sink. The acrid smell clung to my clothes for days. Shadow started behaving strangely, pacing at 3 a.m., scratching at interior doors, yowling at empty corners. One morning I found fresh claw marks on his flanks, shallow but angry. He hadn't left the house. Desperate, I went into the abandoned house during daylight, pepper spray in hand. The front door hung ajar. Inside, dust thick as fog, crumbling drywall, but recent signs, cigarette butts still warm, fast food wrappers, boot prints. In the far corner, taped to a stud, a photo of me from last summer, laughing at a park with Marcus. On the back, Sharpie. I see you. That night, the whispers began, right outside the bedroom window. Chilly out here, sunshine? Aren't you cold? I yanked the curtain aside. Nothing. But the camera feed glitched. 30 seconds of static, then clarity. A Joker playing card was taped to the glass, grinning. I fled to a motel 30 miles south. At 2 a.m., a soft knock. Through the peephole, a woman, expressionless, staring directly into the lens. Who's there? Just an echo, she said calmly. I didn't open. In the morning, another Joker card lay on the mat outside my door. Back at the cottage, I called Marcus's sister. He's in court-ordered rehab, she said. 6 weeks, no devices, no contact. I checked his profile anyway. Recent photo, gaunt, sober eyes. If not him, then who? He'd once mentioned an online productivity collective where members helped each other achieve goals. Maybe someone there had taken his obsession and turned it into a service. The storm arrived without warning. Thunder rolled across the lake like artillery. Power died at midnight. I sat in the dark living room, flashlight and baseball bat ready. Shadow hid under the couch. Slow footsteps inside the house, creaking floorboards, deliberate. I dialed 911. No signal. The bedroom door eased open. Hooded silhouette filled the frame. Miss me, sunshine? Marcus's voice, low and amused. I swung the bat. Solid contact. A grunt. Lights surged back on. Door closed. Empty room. But the bat bore a fresh dent the shape of a human jaw. Deputies found nothing. Nightmare fueled by anxiety. I knew better. I hired a private investigator. Harlan, retired detective, gruff and skeptical. He examined everything. Hair is synthetic, but matched perfectly. Cards are drugstore stock, ink still fresh when applied. The abandoned house belonged to a shell LLC with no active tenants listed. Squatters possible. I'll take a look tomorrow. His final text arrived at 3:47 a.m. Found something inside. Not human. Get out now. His car was discovered at the forest trailhead next morning. Engine running, driver's door open, keys in ignition. On the dashboard, a Joker card with my full name written in the same block letters. Officially, massive heart attack. Unofficially, I knew. I moved to a high-rise apartment in Traverse City. Doorman, cameras, keycard access. For 3 weeks, silence. Then the elevator stopped on my floor. A neighbor I'd never seen stepped in, smiled politely and said, "Still hiding behind those books, sunshine?" I changed hair color to auburn. A woman on the street the next day called after me, "You can change your face, but I still know you." I joined a support group for stalking survivors. There I met Lila. Her story mirrored mine. Ex-hired strangers through a dark web forum called Mindbreakers, where people roleplayed as echoes of your worst fears for pay. We became close. One night she phoned in panic. "Someone's outside my window, whispering my name." The call dropped. She was found the next morning, drowned in her own bathtub. No forced entry. Ruled suicide. On the bathroom mirror, in her own lipstick, "Sunshine sends regards." Not her nickname. Mine. I vanished properly then. Cash only, burner phones destroyed after single use, hostels and Greyhound buses. But the echoes adapted. A bus driver hummed the exact song Marcus played on repeat during our worst fights. A hostel roommate stared too long, eyes holding the same cold amusement. The final night was in a rundown motel outside Luddington. The television switched itself on at 1:13 a.m. Static resolved into grainy footage. My cottage, the beach, the abandoned house. A figure walked out of the trees toward the camera. My face. Smiling. My voice. "The game ends whenever you decide it does." I smashed the screen with a lamp. Glass rained, but the whisper stayed inside my skull. "Welcome home, sunshine." I ran until there was nowhere left. Eventually I circled back to the lake. The cottage sat empty, for sale sign crooked in the yard. The forest seemed thicker, darker. Inside the abandoned house, the air smelled of old smoke and something metallic. Photos of me covered one wall. Hundreds, some printed, some Polaroids, some screenshots from years ago. Strands of hair pinned like trophies. Joker cards scattered across the floor like dead leaves. In the center, an old laptop on a crate, plugged into a small generator that chugged quietly outside. The screen woke as I approached. Live feed. My Traverse City apartment from months earlier, me asleep on the couch. Text overlay in red. "It ends when you want it to end." I poured lamp oil from a can I'd brought, lit a match. Flames roared up the dry wood. I ran. Laughter followed me through the trees, my own voice, warped and gleeful. Now I stand at the water's edge again. Waves lap at my boots. The surface ripples into shapes. Faces, almost mine, almost his. A sodden joker card bobs in the shallows, smiling up at me. The water is cold, but calm. It promises quiet. No more echoes. No more running. What if I stop fighting? What if the end is simply stepping forward? I still haven't decided, but the lake is patient, and the shadows never truly leave.